Offer valid on standard browsers, U.S. only.
When I heard about Date My Age, I thought, really? But there I was in my empty, quiet house, my laptop on the kitchen counter, and I typed in my name. Looking for a man between the ages of 40 to 60? Sure, why not?
Date My Age is different. With verified profiles, you can feel safe and secure to explore meaningful connections with interesting and mature singles.
Date My Age made it really easy. I could join and view online profiles for free. All of a sudden, my empty house wasn't so quiet anymore. I got so much attention, it just made me feel seen and alive. Date My Age helped me start a totally new chapter in my life.
Find a friend, a lover, a partner at Date My Age. Get 60% off when you join at datemyage.com today. That's datemyage.com to connect with thousands of singles worldwide. datemyage.com.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
構成藤田 Listening Keeping Strong Style.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the Ace of Podcast on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here with Suit Williams from Voices of Wrestling. On today's show, we'll discuss nights 7 through 10 of Best of the Super Junior 32 and cover all this news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Please support our show by subscribing and following the Social Suplex Podcast Network and Keeping a Strong Style on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You also get all the network's podcasts over at socialsuplex.com. Check out our Chop Tees store, chop-tees.com/KI Strong Style, so you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style merchandise. There's free shipping on every order and 10% off your first order. That is chop-tees.com/KI Strong Style. And if you enjoy this podcast, please consider making a one-time or monthly donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. And we are streaming live right now on patreon.com/KI Strong Style for IWGP subscribers. If you want to watch our show live or listen without ads, sign up at patreon.com/KI Strong Style. Suit, how you doing, man?
Doing good. I am very tired. I'm running on about 4 hours of sleep. There was a very long pay-per-view, then an early day of work, and then a full Super Junior show I had to fit in before I got here. But I am excited, and I'm going to do the show and then sleep for about 14 hours.
Nice. And you're telling me that you got a new job?
Yes, I got a new job, worked over Memorial Day weekend, and my schedule was, because you talked to me about being on the show on Friday. I was at work on Friday when you asked me to be on this week, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll be on. And I had watched a grand total of 2 Super Juniors matches, not shows, matches. So I had to hop in and kind of just get everything watched in between full days of work, Double or Nothing last night. I watched Saturday night's main event because someone had to do the review for Voices of Wrestling. It's very funny because Rich always says, no, stop. Why are you doing this every time I submit a review? So it's like, stop. But no, I had to do it. And then, I got everything watched, got everything fit in. I have, not strong takes on a lot of stuff, but I have takes. And if that's not what a podcast is about, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, about all the hot takes. So before we jump in, Sue, why don't you get your plugs in right now? Tell people where they can follow you online, all the projects you have going on right now.
All good. I can actually just go to voicesofwrestling.com because I plug in the same plugs at the top, so I can just read it straight up. You can read my long form previews and reviews of wrestling from around the world at voicesofwrestling.com. And then you can check out my personal blog, Williams Watches Wrestling, where I engage in watch projects such as Williams Watches WrestleMania, where I'm sure you can figure out what that one's about. And I'm currently doing the series As Good As It Gets, where I watch the best of 1997 as determined by a torrent file I found on a torrent website.
Nice. So lots of fun stuff going on there.
Yes, and Sue Williams on all the socials. So there you go. Those are the plugs.
Nice. So yeah, check out all Suit's work. Great stuff there. All his site, voicesofwrestling.com. Lots of great stuff going on right now. And yeah, you're powering through those pandemic WrestleManias. I think you just recently watched the 2021, right?
Oh yeah, I got some that Edge Randy Orton match just finished, but yeah, I made my way through all of them. Finished up in time for this year's Mania. So I got reviews of all 41. I have watched every WrestleMania match ever, except the Firefly Funhouse match. I have to be paid to watch that. A man's got to have a line.
I'm glad you have some boundaries.
Look, I watched Edge Randy Orton. I can't do that one too.
Yeah,
you get one dud a show.
Yeah, you deserve a medal for that work, man. But let's jump into best of the Super Juniors. So this past week we had nights 7 through 10. So we'll start breaking things down in the A block, and we'll kind of go in the order of the rankings. Then we'll talk about who's still alive and what the outlook looks like for the rest of the week. As people are probably listening to this on their podcast apps, this show will drop tomorrow. So that's the A block final will probably be happening by the time you guys listening to this on your app. So yeah, let's keep that in mind as we're breaking this stuff down. So we'll start in the A block. And the first guy we'll talk about here is the ticking time bomb, Hiromu Takahashi, who's sitting at 5-3 with 10 points. Hiromu fully in control of his destiny going into the A block finals. So night 7, he defeated Ninja Mac in 10 minutes and 37 seconds. Night 9, defeating Yoshinobu Kanemaru in 8 minutes and 25 seconds. And then night 10, defeating Master Wato in 13 minutes and 34 seconds. Suits, what have been your thoughts on Hiromu so far, especially this past week going into A block final night?
Hiromu kind of feels like Kushida did in like 2018, which is funny because Kushida's still around, but he feels very much like a super senior. Like, you know, he's been the champ however many times. He's won the tournament 4 times. Like, he kind of just feels like, it's Hiromu. He's around. Like, he's good, but it's just like, I feel like I've seen it all, and it feels like the same presentation, and it kind of just feels like the same guy kind of doing the same thing a lot. And, you know, I still like him, but I just am hungry for him to do something else, whether it's, you know, doing something with the Never title, which is allegedly open weight, whether it's hopping in the G1, just something to where it feels like he's doing something different. And with LIJ kind of being gone, I guess, that their hands kind of forced to do something with him.
Yeah, and I get why they, you know, kept him in the tournament this year, and also you need some top stars, some top draws to draw for this tour. So also him and Desperado were the 2 big stars on this tour, and they were in most of the semi-main events and the main events throughout the tour. But yeah, I do think there is something different that needs to happen with Hiromu. I'm not saying, you know, he needs to, you know, do a full gimmick change or anything, but I do think it's way beyond time that he makes a shift into more heavyweight competition. He kind of has been having this mini feud with Ishii that was going on before this tour, and there's rumors of maybe potentially a G1 run this year, and so I definitely think that that's the direction they should go with him. Despite that, though, I still think he's been probably the MVP of A Block as far as match quality.
Looking at the names, and again, I have to say I hopped in on night 7, so I'm not I'm coming in blind halfway through, but Hiromu has probably been a part of the best matches in A Block so far. The Ninja Mac match, I thought I was a little annoyed that they did the same spot twice with the head scissors into the triangle, but then that was the finish where Hiromu almost took a Phoenix Splash to the nuts, but it was the finish. It was dangerous. An inch closer, and that man's going out on a stretcher. That's all I'm saying there. But Hiromu's done some really good stuff. There was a Kanemaru match, which I saw I scrolled past the entrances because I watch these on the Roku. So I do like the 10-second jump, and it gives you the little screen of what's happening. Yeah. I saw the House of Torture jumping him, and I'm like, yes, I can skip this. But I kind of just scanned through. It looked like a leg match. Yeah. And then what do you have? Oh, you have it written down. Why am I scrolling through my 4-page note file when you have it all nice and neat on here? And then he beat Wato in the most recent match that I watched, which was the last Super Junior match that happened. That was a good one as well. So he's done some work you would expect from Hiromu, but it feels samey, and that's a kind of a complaint I have about a lot of the guys in the Super Juniors, is that they feel very samey, but whenever somebody changes in New Japan, it usually means being handed a stick and standing behind Evil. Like, here you go. Here's a push-up bar from your days in the dojo. All right.
Yeah, we don't need to go that direction with Hiromu, which, speaking of the Kanemaru match, apparently there's been a lot of backstage comments with Hiromu and Kanemaru, and apparently Hiromu wants to team with Kanemaru for some reason. And even in the recent post-match, he talked about, since he beat Wato, he talked about him and Kanemaru teaming up to challenge Wato and Yo for tag team titles. Apparently Kanemaru was not in on this plan because, like you mentioned, jumped him on the way to the match and the full House of Torture tactics. But for whatever reason, Hiromu is dead set on wanting to team with Kanemaru.
I mean, I'll take it. It's something different, and whatever gets Kanemaru doing some work. I've enjoyed Kanemaru outside of the House of Torture stuff, because he kind of isn't doing most of it. He's just doing Kanemaru stuff. Yeah. He's just cheating. Show's doing all the gimmicks and stuff. Straight up, I didn't watch any of Show's matches. I just got to put my hand up and say it. But Kanemaru, his stuff's been pretty clean. He's still cheating and spitting the whiskey, but I enjoy his stuff. So if they do something with that, I'd be up for it.
Yeah, definitely would be an interesting kind of almost can they coexist kind of thing, and would Kanemaru want to do that? But I do feel like there will be something else coming for Hiromu, especially on the undercards. He's still teaming with Tsuji and Shingo and Teton, so I'm wondering if something's going to come out of that, or there's going to be some kind of turn. But yeah, definitely, Hiromu definitely feels the same. He's kind of in the same spot, still having great matches. I would definitely recommend going back and watching the Francesco Akira match from Corkin. I believe that was night 3. Yeah. I think that was, to me, that's the match of the tournament. But he's been doing good work, and as of right now, he's full control of his destiny going into the last night, and we'll break down those scenarios. But the next guy here that's also still alive going into the final A block night is 100 proof Clark Connors, so also 5-3, 10 points. Night 7, defeating Kushida in 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Night 9, defeating Ninja Mac in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And then on night 10, defeating Francesco Akira by disqualification in 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
So I came in, as I said, I came into this tournament blind on night 7. Why does Clark Connors have a tire? Did I miss something? What happened there?
So that started on this tour, and I can't tell you why he decided to do that. And that's kind of one of my complaints from last week. It's like before this tour, you know, he has had the big hardcore match with Desperado. He had the dog pound cage match, War Dogs Against House of Torture, and it seemed like they were leading more into like this gritty, badass Clark Connors. And then he comes out with the, you know, Tire Son, Mr. Tire, as he calls him. And that's been every match. There's been a lot of comedy spots where he throws a tire at the turnbuckle, it bounces back, hits him in the face, and in the first half of the tournament, it's cost him a lot of losses. But it seems like in this week, he was able to kind of figure it out more and use it more as a weapon to pick up some wins here.
Yeah, I guess you were as caught off guard as I was, because like, just imagine you're tuning in to Super Juniors, ready to hop on, keeping it strong style. And all of a sudden, Clark Connors is pulling a tire out from under the ring like it's a WWE video game. Like, all right, I guess. I didn't. The Kushida match, my only note is, why does Clark Connors have a tire? Like, it was so distracting. Like, I didn't get it.
Yeah, I still don't get it.
And then the Ninja Mac match, Clark Connors has a tire. Ninja Mac is throwing ninja stars around. Like, what's happening? What happened here? I thought this was New Japan. What's going on?
Yeah, nunchucks, ninja stars. I'm like, all right, there's got to be a disqualification somewhere, right?
Like, if he hit him with the ninja star and impaled him with it, what's he gonna do? Roll him up with a small package? Like, what? You can't. Like, that's the high spot. You can't beat hitting a guy with a ninja star. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I know some got stuck in the ring apron. I'm sure they're not going to be happy about that.
Oh yes. But he tightened it up for the Akira match, though. I really like the Akira match to put something over from Connors. That was very gritty. They're brawling. They're knocking down the barricades. Akira's bleeding. Like, and I like that the heat from the dog pound cage match last year carried over, and these guys are fighting because they may not have. Well, Connors' tag partner is just heavyweight. Akira's tag partner, I don't know what he's got going on. But,
he's one half of the strong tag team champions.
Well, yeah, I guess. But yeah, these guys, they may be singles, so they're trying to do something with each other. I like that.
Yeah, I also like they kept that feud going from last year, because that was a key element of that whole feud was the War Dogs traumatizing Francisco Akira, stabbing him with the fork. I think that was on New Year's Dash. That kind of built into the build to the dog pound cage match, and they were kind of his main victim for the War Dogs, especially Connors and Drilla. So yeah, keeping that heat going, and then Akira just being on edge, getting the disqualification, not caring, that he pretty much killed his chances of advancing, and several chair shots to Clark Connors, and it seems like they will be setting up something for a bigger match down the line with these guys.
There we go. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So the other guy that's still alive with 10 points is Master Wato. So Master Wato defeated Robbie X on night 7 in 17 minutes and 13 seconds. Night 9, defeating Kushida, 10 minutes and 58 seconds. And then night 10, like we mentioned, losing to Hiromu in 13 minutes and 34 seconds.
Yeah, so things look like, I know he just lost to Hiromu, but things, if they wanted to advance him, things look like they're headed that way, because he's got Kanemaru on the last night. Hiromu's got Robbie X, who feels like a spoiler. It feels like they want Wato to be a guy. There was a point where I thought, maybe after the Super Junior win. But I don't know if we're at that point right now. Like, I don't know. He's in that like wave of like, yeah, I guess he's good. He's in that crew of people like, nah, sure. Go ahead, push him, I guess. I mean, all right. Like, he doesn't inspire any excitement when I see his name on the cards yet.
Yeah, and I think, in a ring, yeah, he's good. He doesn't do anything super spectacular that makes him like really stand out, but I think he's a solid worker. And I'm with you. I feel like after the Super Juniors win, it seemed like they were doing something with him there. He had that great final match of Teton that year, and it seemed like, oh man, maybe they finally got something here. And then he went into that 4-way at Wrestle Kingdom, lost, and then just kind of middle of the round. Then he got hurt, and now he's back. He came back from injury, challenged Doki, lost that match, and now he's teaming up. Now he's tag team champion with Yo. And so, yeah, he's just kind of been in that middle zone right now. And it seems like they're trying to, hit the switch right here and remind people that he was a winner of this thing, was a finalist, and he does have a chance to advance here.
This tournament's missing Doki, man. How's he doing? Any updates?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on him. I know he posted something on social recently that seemed like he was kind of on the recovery and could be returning soon. Yeah, so hopefully he gets back in the mix because, yeah, he had a great title run last year, and he's definitely the one guy that really throws, the risk out there, those crazy sentons to the outside. So, yeah, we definitely missed him this year.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, like, the 4 nights that I watched, it was 7 to 10. This was a lot of, those mustard greens on Cage Match, 6, 6.5, 7. This was a lot of those, man. Nothing bad, but there was not a lot that stood out. There was some, but not a lot.
Yeah, especially this stretch of shows. I feel like, the first nights 1 through 6, there was a lot of good stuff. And then I don't know what happened with this back half of the tournament. Maybe, guys are tired. They're very short breaks in between shows. And most of their quote-unquote breaks are travel days. So I'm sure that's part of it. And you had a lot of dual block nights, so very few single block nights on the whole tour as well. So not a ton of great stuff. And when you get those double block shows, some matches, the Connors and Jamak match, they're going 5 minutes, 4 minutes. They're not getting a ton of time. So yeah, you kind of cut down potential of what could potentially get into that upper green on a Cage Match.
Yeah, I do want to check out those Corkins because I heard very good things about both of them. But this back end of the tour feels very dog days. But we're getting to the end. We're getting to the big stuff. We're getting to the elimination portion, and I think they'll bring out the big guns on the last 2 nights.
Yeah. So then moving on to the next guy who has a chance of still advancing, even though he's at 8 points right now. That is Kosei Fujita, the Japanese young punk. So he's 4-4, night 7, losing to Yoshinobu Kanemaru in 9 minutes and 45 seconds, night 9, defeating Dragon Dia in 7 minutes and 57 seconds. And then on night 10, big upset loss, losing to Ninja Mac in 9 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, Fujita feels like Yuya Uemura of the juniors for me personally, where I don't have a great read on them yet, but my thumb is leaning up. Like, it feels like I like him, but I haven't had that moment where I feel like it. Now, I will say I haven't watched that Desperado title challenge. I do want to watch that so I could get a fuller feel for him. It's the same with Uemura, where I wanted to watch him in the G1, and then he got hurt. What was it? His last match, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was second to last. I think against Tsuji.
Yeah. So I did. So I was still forming my opinion, and then he gets hurt for a while. So yeah, I'm leaning up. I like his attitude, and Do you think he shoots the moon? Do you think he gets it? Because he needs a very big parlay to get through. He needs Hiromu and Wato to lose, and then he's got to beat Connors. There's a chance if they want to do something different.
Yeah, so we can kind of talk about the advancement scenario. So Hiromu has Robbie X on the last night. So if Hiromu wins, he advances. Robbie X is mathematically eliminated. Connors is facing Vegeta on the final night. So Connors could advance with winning and Hiromu losing in the main event. And then Vegeta can advance with win, but he also needs Hiromu and Wato to lose. So he needs Robbie X to beat Hiromu, and he needs Kanemaru to beat Master Wato, which I feel like those are two very plausible things that could happen. And I do think, for me, I'm predicting Kosei Vegeta kind of sliding through here and advancing to the A block finals.
I can see it's part of me is trying to figure out, like, parse through the ghetto booking that I've seen over the last decade to try and feel like what feels more likely. What's the cleanest way this happens? And in my mind, it feels like, all right, Wato beats Kanemaru, Fujita beats Connors, and that way it is a simple Hiromu's got to win to get in. Do they like Robbie X that much? I mean, well, I guess it does. I guess it depends. You don't need to like a guy that much. Like Chase Owens beat Ricochet that one time.
Yeah, Chase also beat Ishii. He's also beaten Tanahashi.
Yeah.
But I do feel like they do like Robbie X. You know, he was the replacement here for Bushi in this tournament. Kind of the last minute with Bushi leaving New Japan. And they've been bringing Robbie X more over the tour. So recently teaming with Ishimori, junior tag title matches, which they had a great tag team match against Robbie Eagles and Kosei Fujita. But yeah, I do think that they're trying to, use Robbie X more. And yeah, I could definitely see him pulling an upset and eliminating Hiromu. And I think it would be good to get some fresh blood going into the finals of the tournament.
Robbie X kind of looks like he'd fit in like the Chase Owens kind of corner of Bullet Club, where it's like, wow, they gave you guys the shirts, huh? All right.
Except he's
but he's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's way better.
He's like actually good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about Fujita. Yeah, Fujita, it would be a bold move because he's the youngest guy. He is the youngest guy in his block, right? Nick Wayne's in the other one.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be a bold move. They they won the tag titles at the Dome. If they want to go bold and really like make a guy, I can see it being Fujita, but it depends who comes out of that other block and how, like, do we need to have a drawing name in this match? Because I don't know how well Kosei Fujita versus Yo is gonna do on the walk up. Like, yeah. I know it's the final, but yeah, I don't know.
But I feel like they gotta start making some more bold and ballsy moves, and I get it. You need a draw, and also Hiromu's reliable, Desperado's reliable, but you can't count on those guys forever, and we're seeing that. You can't count on guys. They get old or they move on to other territories, and so I think I would rather them take a little bit of a loss on the house and try to establish somebody than just kind of going back to the same old Hiromu Desperado kind of main event.
Yeah, I can see that. Ooh, you know what? You said that, and then my mind clicked like, ooh, what if they did like Fujita versus Despy in the final? And like really like went for it, but Despy's a champ. He's not going through.
Yeah, it's very rare for the champion to go through, but they could do that. Then you have them kind of a 2-match series there. But yeah, I think Vegeta, I know you said that you're still kind of feeling him out and getting your opinion. And I would say, like, compared to Yuya Uemura, I feel like Vegeta kind of knows who he is a little bit more than Uemura does. I feel like Yuya's still trying to figure out exactly who he is, what the Heat Storm is, how he fits into Hantai now with just 4 guys blending in there. And so, yeah, I think he's still figuring stuff out. I feel like Vegeta's a little bit more there. My one big kind of complaint about Vegeta, I feel like sometimes they go a little bit too much into like the plucky underdog well with him. Like he's getting beat down like a lot of the matches, and then he kind of makes a comeback towards the end. And I feel like you don't want to see him like as an underdog all the time. I think eventually like he needs to be going a little bit more 50-50 with some of the established guys.
Yeah, but he's he's the youngest guy in the block. They're gonna treat him like the young punk of the division. So I get that, but I also like they do really need to like give some guys a shove. Yeah, it worked with Okada. Maybe not with Yujiro, but it worked with Okada.
Yeah, there are hits and there are misses.
Hey, you gotta swing. Yeah.
Yeah, Vegeta having a good week here, still alive in the tournament. Up next, so pretty much everybody else we're going to talk about is mathematically eliminated. So next up, the Crown of Fire, Francesco Akira. So he's sitting at 4-4 with 8 points. Night 7, defeating Dragon Daya in 9 minutes 55 seconds. Night 9, defeating Robbie X in 9 minutes and 3 seconds. And then on night 10, like we talked about earlier, he had that disqualification loss to Clark Connors when he snapped and got the DQ there.
Yeah, Frankie Akira, I really enjoyed the matches he had. I dig him a lot. I know the Despy match he had. Was that a title match or a tournament match?
That was a title match earlier in the year.
Yeah. There's a lot, like I'm saying a lot. I missed that match in New Japan. I've been slipping a little bit. It's all these damn WrestleManias I had to watch, but yeah, I've really enjoyed Frankie's work. The Bob X match that I watched was I watched that after I got home from watching Double or Nothing at my friend's place. So I was coming down from a high, but I still really liked it. Like,
yeah,
it's like, yeah, it wasn't like the main event of that show, but it was like a good match. And I was good on that. And then, we talked about the Clark Connors match. Really like that. Yeah, I'm really enjoying Akira right now. I think they got something with that guy is like the kind of like the United Empire's Big Junior. I really think they could do something with him.
Yeah, I think Akira is awesome. And for the preview of the tournament, he was kind of one of my favorites to potentially win this thing and get another crack at Desperado, because they've been telling that story of him trying to beat Despy and not being able to. And so I was hoping that was the route they're going to go. But unfortunately, he's mathematically eliminated now. But yeah, he's been one of the most consistent guys too in A block. Like between him and Hiromu, I'd say those are like the top two guys in the block. And yeah, really fun matches this week. And I love that he's been introducing the ground tarantula. And he was on commentary on night 8 watching the Bleed Box stuff, and he was talking about he lost to Desperado with the numero dos submission. He learned, like, I can't just rely on my double knees. I need a submission of my own. So training with Tajiri, he learns the ground tarantula. So he's been using that to pick up wins in the tournament. He tapped out Robbie X with that on night 9. So yeah, he's looking really good. He's really, really well-rounded. And I feel like he's a guy that could be like that next, top foreign junior for them.
Yeah. Them putting over, cause I got caught off guard with with it, because again, I hopped in midway through. So when he put Daya in and got the tap, I was like, oh, all right. And then when he did it with Robbie X, I was like, oh, I guess I just don't like how that move looks. But that's what New Japan does. They use the tournament to like establish new moves and stuff. So I get it. And him having a submission to counter Despy's also, it's that long-term kind of stuff for whenever the next big Despy match ends up being.
Yeah. So next up, Dragon Daya from Dragon Gate, also sitting at 4-4 with 8 points on night 7, losing to Francesco Akira in 9 minutes 55 seconds. Night 9, losing to Kosei Fujita in 7 minutes 57 seconds. And then on night 10, defeating Robbie X in 8 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah, Daya's got that, like, he's got that Dragon Gate speed where it's like he feels like he's like 5% faster than everybody. and then he's got the hard chops, which is Dragon Gate guys. There's half of Dragon Gate where they just like have like these super hard chops. It's like him and Yamato and Kagatora. They'll just starch you. But yeah, he's had some good stuff. He's had the matches I would expect him to have at a little lesser level. Like there was I thought him and Robbie X, like watching them their first two matches, I think those two could have a really good match. And then I was wrong. It wasn't really good. It was just fine. But yeah. I thought like the fluidity those two had in the separate matches would like equal each other in night 10, but it didn't come through that way. But Dai is yeah, he's fine. He's not my favorite Dragon Gate guy, but yeah, he's fine. He's fine. That's my ultimate thought on the Diamond Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Dai, he can do some pretty cool stuff. And like you mentioned, yeah, he's super fast. And I think he's been a lot of fun to watch. And coming back from last year, he only won one match in the tournament last year, and so he's definitely surpassed that, winning 4 matches this year, coming out with the Dragon Kid / Ultimo Dragon inspired mask. I wish he would wrestle with that, but I know he lost it in Dragon Gate. But he looks so much cooler with the mask on, and but yeah, he's been doing some cool stuff like that reptilian kind of Yoshitonic bomb thing that he does, and then the crucifix driver. So yeah, he's been super fun, kind of that, high speed bay face that's in the middle of the card, having some fun matches.
One of the most shocking results I've ever seen in a Dragon Gate match was him losing that mask. That was like, I remember my jaw dropping when I saw that 3 count. But yeah.
So next up, also at 8 points, Kushida. So night 7, he lost to Clark Connors in 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Night 9, losing to Master Wato in 10 minutes 58 seconds. And then night 10, bouncing back with a win against Yoshinobu Kanemaru in 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, Kushida, man. I feel like if Kushida got like any form of new like gear or new music, people would like, there'd be like this snap reaction of, oh yeah, Kushida's like really, really good. Yeah. Like, cause he still is awesome. It's just the same guy we saw in 2015. Like, and it's a decade later, and he like, it's kind of Kushida, Yeah.
Like he went to WWE and came back, and like there was like no character progression. Like he's literally the same guy as he was when he left.
It's like someone hit pause on him and then they hit play. And like, in fairness, WWE didn't really change much about him. Like there was 6 months, I think, where he was wrestling in jeans. Like I remember for whatever reason, there is a Johnny Gargano Kushida match from like the getting our asses kicked by AEW era of NXT.
Yeah.
That like stands out to me as like, that was a great match. But other than that, yeah, it's just Kushida. He's in the board shorts. He's got the, Back to the Future music, the surfing dog music. And yeah, he's still good. You're just like, I think a lot of people are just mentally bored by him, including me, but I was, watching his matches, taking notes. I'm like, yeah, this guy still rocks. He still rocks. Just, can we get a different like color board short? Can you bring out the black ones you had for a little while? Like
every once in a while, he does bust out a purple one when he teams with Kevin Knight and they're doing Jet Setter stuff, and they both wear purple. But besides that, yeah, he's sticking to the white, and yeah, I'm with you there. Like, I think Kushida, also in the ring, bell to bell, he's very good. But I'm just, I hear that music hit, and I'm like, yeah, it's Kushida. I'm like just kind of bored at the thought of him even being there. But then he wrestles. I'm like, yeah, he's good. But yeah, I think he's another guy, like we mentioned with Hiromu, like something different. I know they've been doing the Jet Setter tag team of Kevin Knight, but Kevin Knight's, he's doing the dual thing. He's going AEW more, and so it kind of leaves Kushida without something to really do. So yeah, I mean, a turn, or I think before he went to WWE, he wanted to do more open weight and heavyweight stuff. So again, like a guy like him and Hiromu, I think would be great to do more open weight stuff, more heavyweight stuff, and get him in a G1. I think would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, like the belt says open weight. Like, at least let them fight for it. Maybe they don't win, but like, it's something. Like,
yeah, I mean, him and Takeshita would be a lot of fun.
They did that, didn't they? At one of the Strong shows.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I reviewed that show, but I know I watched that match. I had to have reviewed it because why else would I watch a Strong show? but yeah. Yeah, let's, maybe they could maybe him and Knight and Speedball could all maybe they could do like a 6-man thing. International Jet Speed.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, put them in the challenge for the trios titles.
Or the Never ones. Like, why can't anyone book the 6-man titles? Like,
I don't get it. They're the easiest things to book.
Just put them on guys who you want to have a really good opener with or something. And then put them in like match 6 and give them like 13 minutes. And then it's awesome. Remember when they put the belts on Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii?
Yeah.
And how that was awesome?
Yeah, that rocked. Ishii, Goto, and Yoshihashi. That was awesome during the pandemic.
Yeah, do more of that. Like, that worked.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Somebody.
But yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, Speedball, Kevin Knight, Kushida. Yeah, they could do a lot of good stuff, cool stuff with those guys.
Yeah, man.
So moving on.
Who we got next? Bob X.
Yeah, Bob X. He's 3-5, sitting there with 6 points. So Night 7, he lost to Master Wato in 17 minutes 13 seconds. Night 9, losing to Francisco Akira 9 minutes 3 seconds, and then Night 10, losing to Dragon Dia 8 minutes 35 seconds. So 3 losses in a row here for Robbie X.
Yeah, but he has got the greatest disparity of look and talent of anybody in this tournament, because he looks like one of the crappy imports that I don't know, All Japan would bring in for a junior Battle of Glory or something, where it's they really flew this guy out, huh? But then he wrestles and he's really good. So it's man.
Yeah, he kind of looks like in the the SmackDown games when you have the creator wrestler and then there's some templates. He looks like he'd be one of those default templates you can kind of start off with and then add stuff to.
Template 3, Robbie X. But then he's got the really good move set.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
he's him. He's obviously going to be a pin eater on a lot of these shows, but maybe he gets the Hiromu win and sends Fujita or Wato through. If it's Fujita, I'm rooting for him. So there you go.
Yeah, I think Rob X has been a lot of fun to watch. Like I mentioned, he replaced Bushi, so not the best luck there and somebody to replace. So, because this is probably about as much as Bushi would lose as well.
Oh man, Bushi getting 6. You had him on a good year. 3 whole wins. Wow. But you know what? Well, because I brought up Chase Owens beating Ricochet that one time. Was that the year he replaced one of the Bucks? Last minute?
I think it was, yeah.
Oh, I think we figured it out. Robbie X, I think he's beating Hiromu. We say as this show has already happened, as you hear this.
Yeah, we're going to sound either really wrong or really right by the time people are downloading this.
And isn't that the most fun part? Isn't that the part they're going to want to hear? Us being stupidly wrong and being wow, you guys nailed it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Robbie X has been a lot of fun to watch this whole tournament. I think he's been a great addition in the junior division. Him and Ishimori are a really fun team. And yeah, he does some really cool stuff. His dives, his spiral tap maneuvers look really cool. And so yeah, Really fun wrestler. Hopes he sticks around even more. And yeah, that's it for Robbie X there. So up next, Uncle Nobu, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, also at 6 points. Night 7, defeating Kosei Fujita. Night 9, losing to Hiromu. Night 10, losing to Kushida.
Man, just outside of the House of Torture interference on night 7, just good professional work, as you would expect from Uncle Nobu, you know?
Yeah.
Just exactly what you think he put out and exactly what I like outside of the interference. But, that's just how wrestling is now.
Yeah. I feel like, he's been having the same tournament pretty much, the last 7 years. He's going to cheat. He's going to work on the knee. He's going to spit the whiskey, but it works. And he's that guy, he's probably going to lose, but he can catch a guy with a roll up. He can catch a guy in the figure four, make him tap out at night. So you just kind of never know when he's going to pull an upset. He's the ultimate spoiler in this thing.
Yeah, he's the perfect guy to have in a tournament like this. Oh, wow. I just saw a gif of Penta almost breaking Chad Gable's neck.
Oh.
Ooh, that was nasty. It looked like a gonzo bomb. Ooh, let me focus. All right. Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Just a perfect guy for a booker to have in a tournament like this. Because he can beat anybody and it doesn't hurt them because he's kind of credible, but he can lose to everybody because, it's Yoshinobu Kanemaru. So it's that perfect, level setter guy where he can just get your points all right throughout the block. He can beat your eventual block winner. He can lose to the guy you've got finishing dead last. It all evens out in the wash.
Yeah. Then the last guy here, Ninja Mac, also sitting at 6 points. Night 7, losing to Hiromu. Night 9, losing to Clark Connors. And then night 10, bouncing back by defeating Kosei Fujita. Upset win there.
Ninja Mac is in that quadrant of wrestlers with Yo and Sonata, where they just make me wonder, what is this guy's deal? What's up with this dude? He's a short, kind of stocky guy. He's shaped like Taz if he didn't work out. Shaped like announcer Taz, but he can bust out all these dives, and then his backstage promos are just insane. He's just shouting all the time. What's up with this guy?
Yeah, like we mentioned, he's busting out the ninja stars and the nunchucks.
What's up, dude? What's up with you?
Yeah, dude, the first time I ever saw Ninja Mac was here in Tampa during the Pandemic Mania weekend. And GCW was doing a bunch of those outdoor shows here in Ybor, and it was some multi-man scramble, and he's just out there in the middle of Ybor just flipping, doing Phoenix splashes, 630. I'm just where did this guy come from?
Yeah, man. That ninja bomb he hit on Fujita looked it looks like death when he hits it. He almost never does because he's only got 3 wins. But when he hits it, it looks like a finish. It looks like the finish.
Yeah, he has a lot of really cool big high spots and big moves, but my one complaint about him this tournament is we really haven't seen a lot of substance from him, and partially that's because he's been in opening matches and he's been getting very little bell time compared to other guys. But I would like to see, what does Ninja Mac in a main event look like? Because even the Hiromu match, that was the first match of the tournament for that night. It's I would like to see this guy in a main event, semi-main event. Give him some time. I want to see what he can kind of do in between the flips.
I think the reason we don't see him in main events is because there may not be that much in between the flips.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hey, he's good. He's a good 10th guy in the block to open everything up, start hot, get the crowd clapping. with his computer hacker music.
I also think he needs to upgrade his gear. Like his mask, I think is incredible, but then his ninja gear looks like, you know, he went to Spirit Halloween and grabbed whatever was left over.
He's like this is gonna be mean. It's like an inverse Butterface, where it's like the mask is incredible, and then everything else. But he looks like a guy who would be called Ninja Mac.
He does, yeah.
If that makes sense. He looks like a Ninja Mac.
Man. So, like we mentioned, tomorrow is the final A block night. So we'll have Dragon Dia versus Ninja Mac. Both guys are mathematically eliminated there. Then Kushida versus Francisco Akira. Both guys mathematically eliminated there. Then Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Wato. So if Wato wins, he can advance if Connors and Hiromu lose. And then also Kanemaru's out. Clark Connors versus Kosei Vegeta in the semi-main event. So Connors can advance with a win, Hiromu losing, and then Vegeta can advance with a win and Hiromu and Wata losing. And then the main event will be Hiromu versus Robbie X. Hiromu advances with a win, and Robbie X, he can play spoiler here.
And you heard it here first, folks. Keeping it strong style. Robbie X will defeat Hiromu Takahashi.
Yeah.
We figured it out.
Yeah, I think
that's why we're the king of podcasts, the ace of podcasts.
That's right.
I screw up the nickname of the show. I was trying to read it, but my eyes aren't that great. So I just said the king.
Hey, that works. You know, king of sports, king of podcasts, ace of podcasts.
As I'm also not a regular on the show, but I'm just stamping the show title.
Oh, man. But yeah, I think, Robbie X, I think he's going to play spoiler. He's going to beat Hiromu, keep Hiromu out of the finals. I think, Vegeta's going to beat Connors, and I think Kanemaru's going to, you know, pull the spoiler, upset Wato. So yeah, I think, the young punk, Kosei Vegeta, I think he's going to advance to the A block, win the A block and advance to the finals.
I would like that. I would like that more than any option. I think Wato is going to go through because they gave him that push to get to that final the first time through, but I would prefer Fujita. I will say that. I will do my Hangman Ospreay analysis. I want one thing to happen, but I'm predicting the other.
Yeah. And we have a question here from Les Commission 7252 from Reddit. Said, would it be upsetting if Hiromu again goes to the finals instead of a new guy in Connors or Vegeta?
More annoying than upsetting. Like, I mean, I get, do we need another Hiromu Despy final? Like, they've done that. Like,
yeah,
both guys are set. Like, you know, I don't know what that accomplishes other than getting a pretty good match. Like, Hiromu and Yo, I think their first match is still happening somehow. Like, that final was like 45 minutes in a clap crowd in like the pandemic. Like,
yeah,
Show was out there. Like, let's not run that back. I don't need that. So yeah, looking at the top names in B block, I don't really need it. I don't really need Hiromu moving on. Let's send him out with well, we know he's not moved on. We Keepin It Strong Style has officially broken the news that he's not moving on. So nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I think it's the most uncreative option they have. I mean, I get it from a draw standpoint, like we mentioned earlier. If you want a safe bet of a great match and a great draw, I get it. Hiromu's there, but I feel like we got to start taking some risks. We got to get some guys over. And so, I say put Vegeta in there. Well, let's jump over to the B block now. So on top of the block here, still alive, going into the final B block night, El Desperado, the current champion, 5-3 with 10 points. Night 8, losing to Yo in 14 minutes and 12 seconds. Night 9, defeating Taguchi in 14 minutes and 41 seconds. And then night 10, defeating the Jet Kevin Knight in 14 minutes and 26 seconds.
So what road was Desperado dragged down for his back to look like that? Who did he wrestle? Was it another death match he was in?
Yeah, so he had a death match. When was that match? It was a few months ago. It was a triple threat match with Jun Kasai, and I'm blanking on the third guy's name. But yeah, it was one of those crazy death match. The match was absolutely insane, the stuff they were doing in that match. So yeah, that's why his back is all tore up like that.
But yeah, I dig Despy's stuff. His match with it was Taguchi. I'm trying to pull my notes up here. I'm scrolling up and down a minimized Word doc to find my notes. But man, big match Taguchi, dude. Like, why doesn't he wrestle like that all the time? Like I know he's like 43 and he's never gonna get pushed, but like, why not? Just break that out more than 3 times a year. But I know we're talking about Despy, and yeah, I like the Kevin Knight match too, where he really made Knight like earn his like big high spots in that match. So yeah, it's Despy, man. He's great. He's great.
Yeah, definitely one of the most fun guys to watch in the B block. Probably up there for the MVP of the block, and yeah, kind of a upsetting loss there to Yo on night 8, and then but he bounced back with 2 wins. Yeah, the Taguchi match was a lot of fun, and both guys fighting for their submission holds there. Despy going for the numero dos, Taguchi several times going for the ankle lock, but eventually Despy was able to get Taguchi to tap out there. And then yeah, the Kevin Knight match was a lot of fun there. I was kind of expecting Kevin Knight to win there just because he has been eating a lot of losses, and we'll talk about him later on. But yeah, Despy ends up getting the win, and that's kind of been a story with Kevin Knight. He's also looking to finally beat Despy as well, and so wasn't able to do it here. So maybe down the road he can get that win over Despy.
Hey, Forbidden Door's coming up.
Yeah,
Tanahashi was randomly at Double or Nothing, and I missed it because I was hiding in the bathroom from a couple of very chatty barflies. That's a story for another day.
All right. So next up, Yo, also sitting at 10 points, 5-3. Night 8, defeating El Esperado. Night 9, defeating Nick Wayne, 10 minutes and 20 seconds. And then night 10, defeating Teton in 4 minutes and 48 seconds.
So, you know how I was like very caught off guard by Clark Connors having a tire?
Yeah.
Yo in Ziploc bag gear. Not just the entrance gear. It's just it's Ziploc bags all over his gear, man. Like, what's up with this guy? like I'm trying to get into his match with Despy, and I'm seeing, and he's got the Ziploc on his like armbands, and I'm like, I can't get into this. Like, what's happening here? Like, I watched 2 shows, and I watched like Connors with a tire and then Yo in his gear. I'm like, why are half these people gimmicked up? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, and again, it's all this tour. Like, yeah, first night of the tour, he comes out with this Ziploc, gear. I was like, okay, what are we doing here? And then, he's carrying around pictures of all of the B block competitors in one of the bags on the jacket. And so, yeah, Yo's just a really weird dude.
Yeah, I think it was Super Junior. This is 32, right?
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, the one with Wato and Teton in the final, that was 30, right?
Yes, yeah.
I watched that whole tournament, and there was a point in that tournament where I was like, you know what? I think I get it with Yo. Like, he's actually kind of good. And then, like, he got hurt, and he came back, and he's in Ziploc gear, and he's not as good as he was because he's coming back from the injury. He's still in that grace period, I guess, but he's just like, all right, we're trying again with Yo, and all right.
Yeah, he's kind of in control of his destiny for the B block final night. We have a question here from Rambo and Slam Pig on Discord. It says, Dream Division seems stacked with talent, and this tournament has been a lot of fun. With that said, are we really doing a yo push in 2025?
I mean, I guess I got it, but then that moment passed, and now I don't get it anymore. And now he's got Ziploc bag gear. Like, I don't know what to do with him. Like, he's just a weirdo.
Yeah, and I feel like they kind of missed the peak of really pushing him. Once they broke up Roppongi 3K, it seemed like he was going to be the star since show went to House of Torture. But then, he's just been diving more and more into the weird stuff. And, the Ziploc bags. He's done interviews about creating poop sculptures. And he's just a really weird dude. And he's kissing everybody the whole tournament. He's trying to get people to kiss him the whole tournament. He's just in a whole nother universe.
Remember when they were Neo and Show were young lions and everybody thought, man, these guys are the future. These guys would be fighting for junior ace. And now we're here.
Yeah, I remember the Tempora boys in Ring of Honor. I'm like, yeah, these guys rock. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
So but we'll get to predictions. I don't think that Yo is gonna get through though.
I'll see. I think there's a chance, but man, I really don't like any of these options. Because I like Despy, but he's a champ, but I don't think he's getting through. So then it's either Yo or Mao, and we can talk about Mao now, I guess. If you have anything else to say about Yo?
Nah, dude's weird.
Yeah.
So we can jump to another weird dude, Mao, who's also with 10 points, 5-3. Night 8, Mao defeating Taguchi. Night 9, defeating Robbie Eagles. Night 10, defeating Nick Wayne. So reeling off 3 wins in a row to get in a good spot to potentially advance here.
Yeah, I watched the Taguchi match. I got to the point where Mao pulled Taguchi's pants down, and I'm like, all right, I don't have time for this. Then I got to the Robbie Eagles match. Well, I should preface this by saying I don't watch DDT. Not out of choice, just not like out of spite, but just like,
there's only so much you can watch, yeah.
Yeah, I say that to say, like, Mao can head on back over there. He can close the door behind. I don't like his get down, but he's one of the 3 guys that can get through, and well, I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I the first half of the tournament, I was really intrigued with Mao. He's had a lot of really great matches. And then, this week, I mean, the Taguchi match, I was like, what are we doing here? Yeah, that was pure DTism. And I'm like, this is not the promotion for that. And his whole head's in Taguchi's trunks. I'm just like, no, I don't need it.
It's funny because they're simulating gay sex.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
But I thought the Robbie Eagles and Nick Wayne matches were more to form of what we saw in the first half of the tournament. And he kind of went off the rails there with the Gucci match. And even the Despy match last week was a little bit more into the DT style as well. I think he could be really good if we kind of tone down the DDT stuff. He's been doing the whole square thing where he calls him the squarest wrestler alive, and he squares up when people are hitting him, and that's goofy. But I think if we could tone down some of that stuff and the whole butt play stuff, I think he could be pretty solid in the finals.
I mean, the Taguchi match, a DDT guy versus Taguchi, that's basically like, what were you expecting? It's like the Arrested Development dead bird do not eat. Like what did I think was gonna happen here? But that's Mao. He's got 10, and Tim versus Show on the last night. and I will not be watching that. Not with a gun to my head.
I mean, it's got to be better than Orton and Edge, right?
I mean, the bar's on the ground. Listen, if the bar's on the ground, sometimes people show up with shovels, like.
Or sometimes it's not worth picking the bar up.
Exactly.
So next up, Robbie Eagles, who's sitting at 8 points. I think he's eliminated here. Let's see.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's mathematically eliminated. So he on night 8 he defeated Teton. Night 9 he lost to Mao, and then on night 10 defeating Ryusuke Taguchi.
Yes, I believe the Teton match from night 8 is, I believe, as I look through the rest of these, there were some Taguchi matches I really liked. Wow, what year is this? But Eagles and Teton, one of the 3 best matches I watched on this in this batch of matches. Yeah, man, he's just really good. He's him and Teton are 2 guys where I'm like, I gotta watch more of them.
Yes, yeah, they're both
clean. Yeah,
yes.
Clean, slick, just really talented.
Yeah, really fluid. Yeah, both guys. Yeah, that was a really, really good matchup there. So definitely recommend people watching that match. So he got the win there over Teton, and then I thought the Mao match was pretty good. And the Taguchi match was short, but it was a good match for what it was.
Yeah. I thought those 2 guys did a really good job of like selling the desperation because they were both on the cut line, and Eagles ended up getting cut anyway. But I did enjoy that.
Yeah. Then next up, the Bone Soldier, Taiji Ishimori, also mathematically eliminated right now, sitting at 4-4, 8 points. Night 8, defeating Nick Wayne. Night 9, defeating Kevin Knight. And then on night 10, losing to Show.
Yeah, it's Taiji Ishimori. My eyes kind of glaze over when I see Ishimori. Like, again, it's a situation of he's good. It's just, it's Ishimori. Like in the back end of a tour. Like, yeah. We both know what's gonna happen. What's going on here? Like.
Yeah, I would say his best match out of these 3 are probably the Nick Wayne match. That was really fun. Kevin Knight match was good, but then the Show match, that was more House of Torture shenanigans there. Ishimori tried to, get Show from the jump there on the entranceway, but Show was able to come back, get the win there. And yeah, that's Ishimori. He was a finalist last year, and they had a good final match with him and Desperado. I thought maybe he'd get back to the finals again. But yeah, he's eliminated here. But some good matches this week, but nothing blow away.
Nothing stand out. They almost got me with that Show match because that was like match 6 or 7. And I was like in the flow of watching the show. And then I ended up pulling up the button to skip past the post match. And I saw Ishimori versus Yo. I was like, almost got me. Almost got me.
Up next, Nick Wayne, the ROH TV champion, also 8 points, losing to Ishimori on night 8, losing to Yo on night 9, and losing to Mao on night 10. So he started off strong in the first half of the tournament and then eating 3 losses in a row here.
Yeah, Nick's going to have a busy summer with all these ROH TV title matches he's got set up, But yeah, Nick, he's been fine. I was expecting a little more from him. I had this idea in my head of like Nick Wayne already being like really good. And maybe I gotta tamp down on that a little bit. Maybe he just needs. Well, he's in the ring with Ishimori. That's a guy who could lead him through it. And it's not that any of these matches were bad. It's just they didn't really stand out in the way I expected them to.
Yeah, his Corkin matches were his standout performances from the tournament, especially the Desperado matchup that he had where he beat Despy. That was a great matchup there. But yeah, and again, it's like that second half of the tournament. I'm wondering if that's kind of weighing on him. He's not used to wrestling this many matches in a row in AEW.
He might be coming up on his total. He might be coming up on his full total of singles matches. Actually, you know what? Let's look that up. I'll do it right now. Cage match. Let's see how many singles matches Nick Wayne has had in AEW. Let's find the last Super Junior show. There we go. We will click Nick Wayne's name. There it is. Matches. We will get to promotions and match constellation. 1-on-1. All right. He was up to 22. He got up to 22. So there you go. Oh. No, wait. Hold on. That's counting the boat. That's counting matches on the boat. Hold on.
Is that all time?
Shows. Yes, 22 singles matches. All right, we're down to 16 when you make sure they're televised. All right, so he's at wrestling 10 matches on this tour, which is only 6 less than his AEW career. And he's been there like a year and a half.
Yeah, so I'm sure he was probably feeling that going into the second half. And he had some short match times here. I mean, longest match with Ishimori at 10 minutes and 36 seconds. So he didn't get a ton of time these 3 nights. But yeah, he was a good addition to the tournament. But I agree with you. I think that a lot of people kind of expected, Will Ospreay like 2017 to show up and have this insane tournament. And I think overall he had a very good tournament, but it was not like the Will Ospreay I think people were maybe expecting, just kind of hearing the reputation of Nick Wayne.
You think it's a little, bright lights, Carl Anderson kind of there's 800 people here. I can take it easy a little bit. You think it's any of that, or not? He's 19 and he wants to show out in Super Juniors.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like he's been trying every night. I feel like it's more like maybe the match time and the opponents he was with. Because when he had more time and he was in there with like Desperado and Kevin Knight and stuff like that, he had some really good matches.
Yeah, I'll say this: him and Mao tried in that match. I don't know if they got what they were going for, but they tried.
Yeah, and they had some history in DDT when GCW did some tours there. So I know there's some history between those guys there. And then, that was a good match. But again, that only went 7 minutes, 41 seconds. So not a whole ton of time there. But yeah, I think Nick Wayne's been fun to watch. And I think a tour like this is great for him to get some reps in, get some more experience, wrestle some different guys, do something besides just standing next to Christian every week.
Hey, he won the TV. He's got the prestigious ROH TV title that he won from Commander. Yes.
Yeah.
I was about to say Atlantis Jr. That was like 3 champs ago.
I mean, that could have been a good guess. I don't know how many people are actually, dialed into ROH TV.
I only remember that because him and Atlantis Jr. and Brian Cage randomly had a match on like a pay-per-view pre-show.
Yeah.
And just that's a very weird graphic. Atlantis Jr. versus Brian Cage. All right.
Yeah.
And Nick Wayne joins that legacy there.
Yeah. So next up, Risuke Taguchi. He's coming in 3-5, 6 points. Night 8, losing to Mao. Night 9, losing to Desperado. And night 10, losing to Robbie Eagle. So Taguchi, he started off strong, and people were thinking, maybe we're getting the nostalgia run here because he's going out there. He's being big match Taguchi. He's working the ankle lock, but dropping 3 in a row here this stretch of the tournament.
Before we get into Taguchi, you did skip show. Now, I said earlier that I didn't watch any of his matches, but, I was wondering if, the fans of Keeping It Strong Style might be wondering what you thought of Show's tournament so far, as he lost to Kevin Knight in 7 minutes 39 seconds, beat Teton in 7 minutes 45, and then beat Taiji Ishimori in 9:41. So, any thoughts on Show, Jeremy?
Yeah, and I did not intentionally skip Show like you did with his match. I was sliding too far down the Word doc here, but yeah, I mean, it's been Show. I'm a little surprised that he, got some wins this week. They've been doing the House of Torture stuff, and it kind of backfiring. And I mean, I guess he was champion last year. I guess they want to keep him as a threat in this thing. So, and he actually is, even though he's at 8, he does have an outside chance of advancing if the right outcomes happen on the final night. And yeah, I mean, I'm kind of over Show. It's the same thing every night with the wrench, or you have Yujiro Takahashi coming out and hitting people with the pimp cane and dragging people out of the curtain. And yeah, I'm just not into this version of Show. I feel like, I long for the days of 2019 Show, who was in there with, Dragon Lee and Shingo and having all these great matches.
In his Owen Hart caution tape gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It sucks. It really sucks. And he's just going to keep doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. Taguchi. Hey, we got a couple big match Taguchi matches.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did. I really liked the Desperado match. I really liked the Robbie Eagles match, even though it was 6 minutes. Yeah, when he puts the shift in, Taguchi can still, that Desperado match. He was picking ankles like he was Kurt Angle out here. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm like, do this more. Keep your pants on and do this.
Yeah, man. It was almost like, peak TNA Kurt Angle, the way he just kind of kept holding on to the ankles. Yeah, especially that Desperado match. It was like every time Despy thought he had escaped, Taguchi was right there grabbing the ankle. Yeah, there was a great spot where Despy, he hit something and he was just laying there, and then Taguchi just got right back up and caught the ankle and got back into ankle lock. And Despy did a great job selling the pain from the ankle lock too. So yeah, that was a really fun matchup there.
Yeah, Taguchi. I bring up Super Junior 30 again because that was the year he promised he wasn't going to do any butt stuff, and then he actually didn't, and he just worked. It was really good. And then he went the whole tournament winless until the last night, where he pinned Kushida with his butt out, and he thought he did it all straight up, and then Kushida had to just tap him on the shoulder and point down, and he was like, "Oh man." But yeah, big match Gooch. I enjoy it. I wish we saw more of it, man.
Yeah, it's been a welcome addition here, and we've been kind of seeing nostalgia runs in New Japan, also with Goto as a champion. So yeah, a lot of people thought Taguchi might have followed in Goto's footsteps here, but yeah, unfortunately, eating 3 losses this week gonna keep him out of getting into the finals.
Sometimes you're Goto of 25, and sometimes you're Goto of every other year.
So next up, Teton, who also sitting at 6 points. Night 8 losing to Robbie Eagles. Night 9 losing to Show. And night 10 losing to Yo. So another guy who 8-3 losses this week, was a finalist a couple of years ago. I thought they might have done some more of him here. He's also kind of in a weird spot with LIJ being done. He's now just representing CMLL and not LIJ.
Yeah, Teton, he makes me consider paying the $35 a month to watch a CMLL live every Friday. This guy rocks. I wish he was in the mix, but I'm not even sure he was for some reason I think he only got in that Super Junior final because somebody got hurt or somebody got dinged up or the booking got shuffled up a little bit. Like, I think somebody had to like pull out and then Teton got in, but anyway, like he had the great final. That was a tournament where I really like got it with Teton. And he was really great in the Eagles match. You know, he was really great in the Yo match. And I wish his show match was earlier in the tour.
Yeah, Teton's a super underrated guy, and he's just really dynamic in the way he moves, and his suicide dives are awesome, and his SI moonsaults, and yeah, he's been a great addition to the tournament. Yeah, kind of surprised that he's just at 6 points here. And I think he's really underrated. Right now he is the CMLL Universal Champion, where they just did the tournament where all the champions are in the tournament. So he's like the champion of champions, and he's pushed super hard in CMLL, but it did not translate over here to this year's tournament.
Man, CMLL gonna be pissed. Their champs doing all these jobs. You said knowing CMLL doesn't care about these belts,
right? And it seems like the trios title. So one place that can actually book the trios titles, it seems to be the top belt right now, with the Sky Team being the champions.
Absolutely. Give me Sky Team versus the International Jet Speed. Come on.
Let's go.
I know you're listening, Tony. I see you liking some of my tweets. I won't say which ones.
Yeah,
I don't screenshot them, but I see you there.
Let's book that for that Fantastica Mania week that's coming up next month.
Dude, that's going to be awesome. It's going to be so sick.
Yeah, there's so many great matches already announced for that stuff. It's going to be a fun week.
Speaking of somebody who is he booked on that week already, or
Kevin Knight? I don't think so. At least not yet. He might be on the Dynamite, but as of right now, nothing announced for Kevin Knight for that tour. But yeah, Kevin Knight's been here. He's also at 6 points. Night 8, he defeated Show. Night 9, losing to Ishimori. Night 10, losing to Desperado. And so I think a lot of people are very surprised to see where Kevin Knight is at with the record, considering he is a dual contracted AEW guy. I think a lot of people were expecting him to kind of come in here and clean house this year.
You want to sign that contract? We'll show you, buddy. But yeah, Kevin's been he's been awesome. He has you can feel his confidence, and you can feel that he knows he's getting better every time out. He rocks. He's going to rock even harder. Yeah, I'm very excited to see his future. I saw him I saw Jet Speed versus the Bucks live.
Oh, man.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah,
gave him a high five. I think that was on TV. But, just excellent stuff. That guy's going to be a star. And I think he said he wanted to be in the G1 this year, but Tony Khan said, look, if I had known how over this guy was going to be, I don't know. Because that stretcher match with Ricochet, that was probably going to be him and Kevin Knight, right? That was the feud they were building.
Yeah, I thought, they were building Knight in, Ricochet, and then, Knight had to go to Super Juniors, and then Mark Briscoe kind of slid it in there. But yeah, Kevin Knight and Ricochet on pay-per-view would have been awesome.
I mean, it worked out for the best. You had an awesome match, and then you get the sight of Mark Briscoe looking like a zombie 2 hours later.
Yeah, that was great. But yeah, Kevin Knight's been awesome on this tournament, and a lot of swagger, a lot of confidence. I think my only complaint with him in this tournament was, there was a point where he was eating a lot of losses and still kind of coming out being smiley, happy-go-lucky Kevin Knight. And I'm like, I don't know. I think at this point, if you lost 3 in a row, let's see a little bit more intensity, a little bit more urgency. Just to kind of drop the cool act and kind of show a little bit of frustration of being, where you're at in a tournament.
Yeah, you would like to see a little more of a little more sell that you're focusing up a little bit, but you don't want to do that if you're just going to lose anyway. So
yeah. He looked good at the Desperado match, probably his best match this week, and that was a lot of fun. And again, that whole story there of him trying to beat Desperado, and he's been using that UFO frog splash in this tournament. So yeah, he's been looking really good.
Yes, agreed.
So then the final B block night is the Thursday, May 29th. So we're going to have Taguchi versus Kevin Knight. So both men are mathematically eliminated there. And
I've got that one circled. Big Matt, I know he's eliminated, man. Come on, Gooch. Give me 6 good minutes.
Yeah, I think Kevin Knight will get the win there to end at 8 points. Then we have Teton and Nick Wayne, who are both mathematically eliminated. I don't know. I mean, Teton's sitting at 6, Nick Wayne's sitting at 8. I kind of want to see Teton get the win there to end his run at 8 points, but I could also see Nick Wayne winning to get to 10.
Give him a winning record for Excalibur to mention in passing on Dynamite.
Yeah.
I would also prefer if Teton won too.
Yeah.
That's just because I like Teton.
Yeah, Teton's a man. And then we'll have Show versus Mao. So Mao can advance for a win, and if Desperado and Yo lose, and Show could also advance if a win, and if Desperado and Show loses. And the thing with Show is, if he wins, he gets a 10 points, and if Desperado and Yo lose, they stay at 10, and Mao would stay at 10, and there would be a convoluted 4-way tie that would work out in his favor, that would push him through.
So Mao's winning, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would prefer, a double count out, a no contest, I wouldn't mind if the stream died for a few minutes, just, yeah.
Yeah, I think Mao's gonna get the win here, and there'll probably be a lot of shenanigans with House of Torture and Mao doing some DT stuff, but
really going out on a limb there. Maybe we'll get the what's Mao's group that he's always booked with?
The Strange Love Connection.
I don't think that was it. There's like a number in it or something. It's his DDT group, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
like 27.
Was it Kamina or something? 27 Kamina or something like that?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll come out and they can there'll be 10 guys in the ring in the singles match, and like the ref will be dead for 10 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Mao will win, and that will put him up to 12 and have a shot to go in. And then semi-main event of the night will be El Desperado versus Robbie Eagles. Eagles is mathematically eliminated, but Desperado can advance with a win, and he needs Yo to lose. So yeah, I think Robbie Eagles is going to play spoiler and knock Despy out of this thing.
I think they're going to play it straight here and have Despy win, just so we don't have to worry about Show or Mao.
True.
And then it'll just be Despy or Yo as your advancers.
Yeah, they could do that. And actually, you know what? Because the main event, yes, Ishimori and Yo. So Yo advances with a win. Ishimori is mathematically eliminated. So I don't know. I kind of feel like they're going to put Mao through.
I think they're just going to play it straight. They'll have Mao win, they'll have Despy win, and then they'll have Yo win, and then Yo, just the guy who controls his own destiny, goes through.
Gotcha. So that would be a Yo Vegeta finals.
Yes, that's what I have.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I don't know. I think knocking Despy out could be interesting, and then Ishimori also playing spoiler to Yo. I really don't want to see Yo in the final, and
I don't either. Like, to be clear, this is just what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
What I want to happen is for just, I guess, Despy to win. What I want to happen is to go back and have Teton win a few more of these things.
Right, yeah.
Or give Robbie Eagles another win.
Yeah.
But this is just what I think is going to happen. And I think we got another Yo final here as he wrestles a Super Junior final in Ziploc gear.
Yeah.
If I saw that and I had Yo booked, I'm like erasing some stuff out. Like, I'm like redoing stuff.
Yeah, like you said, Teton, I would have pushed him. Nick Wayne, Kevin Knight. There's so many other guys in this block that I would choose before I would go to Yo advancing in the finals.
Yeah, but I think we're getting it. I think Fujita is gonna. I think in that scenario, I certainly want Fujita to win, and I think they would. Because there's a story there, like the young guy coming up, and Yo, he hurt in that show match? His shoulder?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because I didn't remember if I was thinking of. Because I was thinking of the spot where he got hurt, but I didn't know if I was thinking of that or thinking of the Dragon Gate match where the guy got hurt like 2 minutes in with his shoulder.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the shoulder.
Yeah. But, I think Yo's going through. Actually, now that I say that, I think Yo might win. Oh, God.
Well, he is still he's one half of the junior tag champs also.
Ooh, I forgot about that. He did have that belt. All right, Fujita's winning. Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, I feel better. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm predicting Fujita to win also, and I think there's a great story there because he did lose to Despy earlier in the year, so you could have him, win the tournament and try again to beat Despy at Dominion, and you could have him, topple Despy and win the championship. And I think it'd be great to create a new star, get somebody else over. Yeah, we don't need to get Hiromu in there. We don't need Desperado in there. So, yeah, I think having Fujita win and establishing him this early would be a great thing for the division.
But would you want to do the Super Junior win and the Junior title win in the same dip? Because winning Super Juniors is its own bump. And then winning the title itself is its own bump. Would you want to do both of those at once? I mean, again, if you're rocket packing the guy.
Yeah. I think for me, I would do it that way because I feel a lot of times what happens is if a guy wins Super Juniors and then loses a title match, sometimes it gets forgotten. Like with Wato, great example. Like he wins a tournament, he got that great push, and then he loses the title match, and then he went right back down, and people just kind of seem to forget about it.
He's coming out with the Super Junior trophy on the Power Struggle tour. It's like, dude, come on.
So yeah, it's like you lost the title match.
It's December. That was May. Come on now.
Yeah, so
but,
I think it'd be
also.
Oh, go ahead.
We were talking about Dookie earlier. If he's, if he's healthy, he could come back. I expect Despy to still have the belt to do the Doki return match. And, whenever that may be, maybe they push that out to the Dome again, but I don't know. I think they got to make a guy here, and I think Fujita's the guy to make. I don't think he wins the belt yet. I think that's his next hurdle to climb. But yeah, I don't want to see Yo in that gear with the trophy.
Yeah, I don't want to see that.
He might take a dump on it or something. I don't know with that guy. He's weird. He's weird in an off-putting way.
Yeah.
Not in the endearing wrestling way.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine sharing a locker room with that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think pushing Fujita is the right call to go. Even if he doesn't win the belt, I think at least winning the tournament is a good start. Because maybe you don't want to give him too much too soon. Like you mentioned, Doki is going to be waiting in the wings for Desperado. I'm sure that'll be a big return match, and then you could have the story go if Vegeta fails again to beat Desperado, and then eventually you have him beat Despy at some point.
I'm sorry. I'm picturing Yo winning the tournament and then just taking a dump on the I said it, and then I thought about it. Stupid. Oh my god! I just you were talking and I was listening, and then my brain just made the image.
Oh
my god.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm sorry. I just pictured him taking those stupid pants down.
And that's exactly why he can't win.
Oh my god. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Man. I need to breathe.
But another reason why I think Mao could potentially go through, there could be that story of Vegeta being the one to defend New Japan against the outsider, against the DT guy. Yeah. And so you have him beat the outsider and defend New Japan and win the tournament all in one go. So I think that could be another interesting story there.
Yeah, and you can show off the, you could have the DDT guy kind of like show off, kind of, be a good partner. I was wondering, would the Dragon Gate fans feel some kind of way about that? Because Taya came in and just lost the whole tournament, but he was last minute replacement last year, and they gave him some love this year.
Yeah, he got a lot of love this year, and I think he had a good tournament this year. So
I'm still wiping tears out of my eyes. That was something else.
We had a question from Rambo. Is there anyone whose point total is really surprising to you at this point in the tournament?
I'm stunned Mao's in the mix. I didn't see that coming at all when I saw his name. And I know he's popular in the DDT crowd, and I just thought he'd be, an 8-point guy, giving a little respect, but not really going through. But I'm stunned he's at 10. Yo and Despy being at the top, that makes sense. Who else? Is there anybody with a surprising total? You know what? I thought Akira would be in the mix, and he kind of was until the Connors match, and then he got himself basically eliminated there. But I figured he'd be a guy in the mix on the last night, at least, as a kind of a rising junior in the mix, and he's got his story with Despy, as we talked about. So I'm a little surprised he's that low, and then I'm a little surprised Mao. I'm very surprised Mao is that high.
Yeah, from A Block, I agree with you for Akira. Yeah, he was somebody I was predicting could potentially win this thing. In the Despy title match, he had new gear, new music, new entrance gear, kind of a new man. He's not really teaming with TJP anymore, and they've been doing a great job pushing him. And I thought, all right, he failed being Despy in the title match. Here's a chance to get redemption. And so, yeah, I thought he would have been alive going into the final night. Let's see. I'm surprised with Dragon Dia just because they beat him like a drum last year. I wasn't expecting him to get this many wins, but I'm glad he did. And that's, I feel like the rest of A Block's kind of where you would expect them. And then B Block, I'm not really familiar with Mao. This tournament's pretty much the first time I'm really getting my eyes on him, what he can do. And so, not knowing how hard they would have pushed him. And so I wasn't really expecting that. And then, let's see. I was expecting Kevin Knight to be a little bit higher just because he is dual contracted and coming off some great stuff on Dynamite and what they're doing in AEW. I thought maybe he might have been in the mix, especially too because he says he wants to be in G1. So I thought they would have given him, points wise, a good run here to, potentially get him into G1 in the summer.
Yeah, he's dead last in the block right now. I figure the Taguchi match will get him out of the basement, but that it is, him being in the cellar that's something else.
Yeah,
especially because he's got a deal. He's not like an AEW guy just jumping in. Like Nick Wayne's got more points than him. It's 2 more points, but still, that's...
And also Teton. I thought Teton would do a little bit better considering he is a finalist and he was just recently in LIJ. But I guess somebody had to lose here in this block.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's see, question here from Death Triangle 720. He says, who do you think has been the most consistent wrestler in Best Super Junior this year? So I know you've only saw these 4 nights. Who do you think kind of stood out as the most consistent guy to you in these this stretch?
Teton. I only saw 2 of his matches because, show. But he was very good. Robbie Eagles. Like, consistent. Everybody kind of played to the level over this block of matches. Mal was a guy I was kind of interested in seeing just because I hadn't seen him before. But, he didn't really hit with me. Consistent, I would go... I go with the guys I said. Yeah, Teton, Eagles.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of consistent guys throughout both blocks. I feel like A block, I feel like Hiromu, Kira, Dragon Daya, Robbie X, and all those guys were very good every night. B block, Despy, Eagles, and Taguchi at this point, Teton. There's a lot of guys here that night in, night out were having some really good matches.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody was in that mustard green cage match score,
Yeah. And there was a question I missed earlier from Death Triangle 720. He says, how would you compare your feelings of last year's tournament so far compared to this year's?
I was very bummed out that Evil was getting the Dominion title match against Jon Moxley, and I skipped Super Juniors last year. But to answer your question, I will compare it to Super Junior 30, which I have brought up multiple times because it is one of my, I think it's one of my personal favorites, because that was just a tournament where a lot of guys really broke out to me. Mm-hmm. This is the opposite. Again, hopping in on the back end, but nobody really like took the bull by the horns here other than the guys I expected, and the guys I expected to like impress me are not in the mix. So now it's, it's Hiromu, it's Clark Connors in his tire, it's Master Wato. All those guys have played to about the level I would expect. And then B block, it's Despy and 2 guys I don't really like. So it's like, who advances in these things also will affect it, will affect my opinions of it. Because, Super Junior 30, Teton was in the final. Like that shocked me as he got through. Because I think he tapped out Hiromu or Despy. I think he tapped them both out, actually, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Because they were doing the playoffs that year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Despy was the last guy he beat to get into the finals, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
and then Wato had a good stretch going into the final, and then the final was fantastic. And then, obviously, we haven't seen the final this year yet, and I've missed the, showcase nights in Korakuen as well, so... I would honestly disregard my feelings of this year's tournament as a whole. I haven't watched it as a whole.
But even though you haven't watched it as a whole, I think your feelings are pretty spot on. I feel like nobody this year has really stood out. There hasn't been a ton of notebook matches this year. I feel like a lot of the great stuff was in the kind of the front end, those Korakuen nights, and then we've been just getting some very good stuff, but not that kind of great match of the year level stuff that maybe you would have seen in previous years. And then also from a kayfabe perspective, it's been a lot of parity booking too. You can see a lot of guys are also just really 50-50 booking. A lot of guys are very similar points. No one guy is really ahead of the pack, and I get it. There's probably a lot of guys they don't want to beat, and they're trying to, keep everybody at the same level. But I think that also hurts too. I feel like you do want to establish some front runners, and I think it would have been good to, kind of have some more guys be a little bit more dominant with the points here.
I'm taking a look here. in A block, there are 7 people between 8 and 10 points. And in B block, there's 7 people with it's the same thing. It's 7 people between 10 and 8 points. Everybody's just in a blob. And while that does make the last night kind of interesting as far as like the tiebreakers and stuff, it kind of just, it doesn't really like benefit anybody in the body of the tournament. Like, you know, look at that G1 where like Okada and Jeff Cobb are beating everybody in their own block, and then it led to them running out front, and then it led to that final match where it was, you know, Okada versus Cobb. One of these guys has to win. Like, you know, like, I get what he's trying to do as a booker, make as much interest in as many matches as possible on the end of the tour, but it does just sap some energy out of like nights like these where it's like you're kind of just evening things out, and there's no like, I don't want to say there's no story because there's like individual stories, but there's no story of the tournament. There's no real standout from a kayfabe perspective.
Yeah. And I can see the pros and cons to it. And again, yeah, we do have some interesting, you know, final scenarios here with people. There's multiple people still alive on the final night. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that if you really want to get somebody over, you know, like Kosei Fujita, like, would it not have been maybe better for him to be a little bit more dominant and go into that final night, you know, with very strong chances instead of kind of, it seems like he's going to kind of slide in there instead of being a little bit more dominant.
Yeah.
Well, that is Best Super Juniors 32, night 7 through 10. So, yeah, final A block night tomorrow, or if you're listening to it, probably today. And then on Thursday, the final B block night. And then on June 1st, we will have the winner of A versus the winner of B in Ota City Gym. And then just a couple questions here, Suit, and we'll wrap the show up. So some questions here from Barry Walsh. He's with Suji this week, saying he may boycott the U.S. shows as he feels the title is being disrespected. And also mentioned the ring mat not being clean. I have to wonder, do you feel this is really an honest opinion or the office making him say certain things?
I mean, I can see why he wouldn't want to do the U.S. shows. Because, like, there's not a lot of effort. I was trying to think of a word that wasn't effort, but there's not a lot of, like, effort put into these. Like, you know what you're going to get on a lot of these U.S. shows, and it's not very, like, appealing. Like, New Japan Strong shows feel like MLW shows where you see the names and think, that could be interesting, and then it never is. Like, it's just like, yeah, New Japan Strong. I'll put it on if it's not a pay show. Like, it just, they don't feel important. They don't really feel necessary. Like, the Strong brand as a whole doesn't really feel necessary. Like,
yeah,
I could see them maybe wanting to, like, scale it back to maybe, like, just Windy City Riot, just Capital Collision, just, like, the 2 or 3 times a year you do big US shows instead of like trying to run every month and, you know, maybe hitting on 2 of those, because Windy City Riot was pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like consistently Windy City Riot the last like 3 years has been one of the best US shows they do, and they've made that feel important. You know, this year we had Tanahashi's last U.S. match. Year before, you had Jon Moxley winning the title from Naito. So they've done a lot of cool stuff and have drawn really well in Chicago. And so, yeah, I get, not wanting to do the U.S. shows. And I don't think the office is making Suji say it. I feel like it's his real feelings, because he was mainly commenting on the fact that the last 2 U.S. shows, the IWGP title was not the main event. And so from his perspective, he feels like it's a disrespect for the IWGP title, which I get. But I mean, it was Tanahashi's last U.S. match, which that was the right call, especially with the title match being Goto and Umino that night, which was not great. And then the California show, you had the draw finish with Goto and Zack. And so I get why they wanted to main event with Mercedes, Mina, and Azumi, and there was a title change. So,
I mean, the title match not being in the main event of that show feels like it gave them like the excuse to kind of do that draw finish. To set something up for down the line with Zach. But I don't feel like the Office, like, I think the Office would like want to tell these guys, like, can you not say this stuff all the time? Like, can you not like can you guys stop asking for the Intercontinental title back, please? Like, can we get this new belt over? Like, I feel like it's the guys kind of just say what they say, and then the Office only cares if it like raises a stink.
Yeah, I feel like, and we see this a lot of times too in the backstage comments, like guys will be cutting promos and setting up angles that leads nowhere because they're just kind of doing whatever they want back there. And so I feel it's the same thing when it comes to press comments. I feel like guys kind of say honestly how they're feeling in character and what they think. And yeah, I'm sure the Office doesn't really want their guys burying their U.S. shows and what's going on there. Because I mean, I think eventually I would love to see Tsuji come to the U.S. and kind of be the new face of New Japan in America.
Yeah, I think Tsuji's great. It's just, he's got that Naito thing where he's just gonna dump on what he dumps on, and if New Japan's doing it, then hey,
yeah, all
right, what you gonna do? Like, I'm Naito. Like, I don't know if Tsuji's at the I'm Tsuji yet stage of his career, but he's getting there. He's moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Barry also asking about Gabe Kidd. He says, I understand if he left, it would just be business. But he said last week that they should have pushed him harder in case he goes. But what if you push him and then he goes after you chose him, so to speak? I'm not going to say FAW at all, but if Gabe goes soon and the concern is always not any Western talent does, and hell, Okada going too means anyone is fair game. Where does New Japan go from here if this does keep happening? Where do fans go?
I mean, it's, you kind of just got to go back to the territory ways of thinking where it's like, all right, I've got this guy on paper for a year. Let's plot the year out. And let's push these guys harder in that window where you have them. And then if you get them further, then just keep planning it out like this. It's how the territories used to run. You have a dojo of talent yourself, so you are going to get your own guys. There's going to be, your homegrown talent that just aren't interested in America. Like, Naito didn't leave because, WWE threw a bag at him. Naito left because, he needed a break or something. I don't know. Like, I don't think he's jumping to Noah. I don't think their bag's like that much bigger. Like, there's always going to be, when it comes to the foreigners, the New Japan, you can, there's the expectation that those guys are going to leave. So don't treat them the same as your homegrown guys. If you have your homegrown guys, develop them, they don't really have that American interest that Okada does, and kind of build around them, and then use the foreigners as kind of parts of their story as opposed to, they're having their own stories themselves, I guess. You want them to kind of, that's not saying never push them.
Right. But essentially
use them to benefit the guys aren't leaving. And you've got these guys you've got these guys on paper. Like Jeff Cobb, the Jeff Cobb thing happened because he wasn't under contract. He was just on a handshake deal. So it's if you got him on paper, hey, I've got him from this January 4th. I've got him from New Beginning to the Dome. Let's plot your year out. How do you interact with these people? And then if you stick around, hey, we'll give you a little something if you stick around enough.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying last week with Gabe Kidd. Like, after the Kenny Omega match, I would have, like, called him, like, hey, man, like, all right, that we want to push you this year. Like, here's the plan. Like, let's do, like, a year-long push with him. And then a few months before his contract's up, you get a feeling like, hey, give it to me straight. Are you staying or are you leaving? If you're leaving, that's cool. You know, we'll use you to put people over. But if you're staying, you know, this push will keep going, kind of like what you're saying with the territory days. And I feel like, you know, he had that Kenny match, he had the Tsuji match, and I feel like they really failed to capitalize on the momentum of those two matches. Like, he went into New Japan Cup and got bumped in the second round, and then he was stuck in the House of Torture War Dog feud. And like, now we're almost to June, half the year's gone, and they really failed to capitalize on the momentum and buzz from the Kenny and Tsuji matches.
Yeah, they're circling back to Tsuji, though, in fairness. Like, part of it's the scheduling, but like part of it's like Ghetto does have to, for a guy who loves Memphis, he's got to like pick up the pace when it's like some of these guys, because it is starting to get like a territory system where, you know, guys are going to start moving a little bit faster. The world's moving a little faster around you. So maybe you've got to speed up a little bit to match it. But, you know, about Gabe in particular, if I'm Gabe right now, there's a much longer play here that I think staying with New Japan benefits him more in the long run than like just jumping to AEW now. Because like, if you look at the young guys in New Japan right now, he is head and shoulder. Like, Tsuji's there, but other than him, he's head and shoulders above the class. He's he's very much, you know, that next guy up in New Japan. I think for him, there is a bigger benefit to staying in New Japan and getting, like, catching that lightning in the bottle and feeling like the top guy in New Japan, to where, you know, maybe in 2027 or 2028, he can be like, all right, I had my run, I was the top guy, I'm a top foreigner at least, I'm on the come down now. Now is when I say I'm moving to America. Now is when I get that Will Ospreay bidding war going. And now is when I capitalize on this. He's on the front end of that roller coaster now. I think another year or two, he could be like starting, he can peak and then come down. I'm talking with my hands. I am not on camera. But on the way, like, he can peak, and then on the way down, he can start looking to America. That's what I would do, but I'm also not the one taking the bumps. So
yeah, and I could totally understand him, you know, wanting to get the bag and, you know, live in America maybe, and you know, kind of go that direction. But I agree with you. I do think there is more for him to do in New Japan, and I feel like he can increase his value more by staying and, you know, eventually winning a G1 or winning a title. Like you mentioned, being that top foreign star, I think helps get him an even better deal in the future, increases his value, increase that bidding war. Because like right now, I don't think there would be like a huge bidding war for him, and I don't think that, like, I'm sure he'll get a good deal from AEW, but I think it's not going to be like, he's not going to get Okada a Will Ospreay level money.
He's not a guy where WWE would like bump the number up. Like, he's very much not like their style, and I don't think he ever would sign with them. But, you know, you got to play the game, bounce these sides off of each other to get the best deal you want. And I think for him, if he made himself like a name guy in New Japan, then he could get WWE to like make him an offer just so that the AEW offer comes up a little more.
Yeah, I think it benefits him in the long run to have a longer top guy run in New Japan. And I do think that, fans need to expect that Western stars, these foreigners, are eventually going to leave and they're going to go to either AEW or WWE. And there was a lot of conversation last week, Suit, about Gabe, showing up on AEW, and there were a lot of New Japan fans that were mad that he showed up, because of his whole character's kind of been, screw AEW, hardcore New Japan, and now he's showing up and helping Jon Moxley. What are your thoughts about that whole kind of character alignment, and plus just the whole partnership with New Japan and AEW? I feel like a lot of fans are mad that a lot of New Japan stars have been going to AEW.
Well, he explained that he doesn't really like AEW on the AEW TV, and he's teaming with Mox because Mox doesn't like what AEW's look is right now. That's been his whole heel deal. But I think what people forget is that Forbidden Door, a lot of the build is during the G1. So I do think getting Gabe in the mix now and having him aligned with the Death Riders does help to set him up for whatever his match is going to be at Forbidden Door, whether it's a Kenny rematch, whether it's facing one of the AEW homegrowns. If, maybe if Darby's back and Darby's fighting the Death Riders, you could do Darby versus Gabe, which that sounds phenomenal to me. Mm-hmm. But, I do think part of it is just... part of it's setting up Forbidden Door, and part of it is just, Gabe's up in his value. He, these guys are going to play the game. These jumps are going to happen. And I feel like there's always going to be Japanese wrestlers who most of them want to stay Japanese wrestlers. I think Okada is your outlier, where he came up at just the right time, in just the right way, and was presented in just the right fashion to where it works for American audiences. Mm-hmm. And he sees his value, and he can kind of capitalize on that over there. I don't think a lot of other Japanese talents are going to work in the same way, and that's not to denigrate them. That's just to say, the styles clash. I don't think 2019 Naito would I don't know if he would connect the same. He's obviously have great matches and things, but I don't know if it would match up. I don't know if it'd be a circle in a square hole or whatnot. Yeah. I don't think Goto would work in that way. That's not to say I don't think these guys are good. That's not to say I don't think they're talented. That's not to say I don't think they would get over. I just don't think I don't think those guys would want to be coming to America that often. I don't think they'd want to move their lives over there. I don't think they'd want to do that. There's just a lot. I think there's a grand majority of Japanese wrestlers who would, they'd rather wrestle in Japan. So I don't think you have to worry about that from that regard. But, there's a couple $1 billion bulldozers over here, and, there's only so much you can do. So just do what you can and get what you can out of these guys. And if they jump, they jump. You got what you needed. I bring up AEW, I'll bring up Mariah May. The Mariah May arc is a perfect example of what wrestling promoters and talent themselves should look at as okay, you came in on this day, we have a particular arc for you, and now you are going to leave about when your contract is up. And maybe she doesn't leave, but it feels like she is. Yeah. If she doesn't come back, then okay, you use this person in this shorter time frame to get one of your established stars over to a higher degree. And now Tony Storm's going to be in the biggest women's match in company history at All In.
Yeah.
Like that happened because of Mariah May's, 2-year deal. And now she's got a little bidding war going on for herself. And if she leaves, AEW had that. They had that arc. They peaked it. The person that they're building around stays and benefits. And the person leaving, they benefit in their own way. They get a big bag of money from the other side. So, don't plan to have people for 5, 6, 7 years like you used to, because that world's gone. That world's gone now. You got your guys for a year, plot out their year. You got your guys for X day to Y day. Make sure you get the most you can out of that 365 days or whatnot. And if you get more, then plot from that day forward and work from there. It's a new world, and I think Ghetto's still working in that like 2014 style where it's like, yeah, I got my guys.
Yeah.
And even then, he was getting guys poached. He had, Nakamura and AJ Styles, got picked off, and then he just pulled up Kenny Omega. Like, you gotta cycle through faster. That way you can have guys ready to elevate when your established talent leave.
Yeah, I think too, just that the way that they do contracts, most guys it's a year-to-year deal regardless of who you are. And I think that model doesn't really work well in a world where AEW and WWE are constantly looking for new people and wanting to know when people's deals are up. And so, we always kind of see that January, February time, there's always people kind of jumping ship and leaving. And so, I would say, it's time that I know the financial situation's been a little bit rough coming from the pandemic, but, apparently Bushiroad just had a really great third quarter. And I think that, if you want these guys to stay longer, they need to be doing some longer term contracts, give them a 2 or 3 year deal. And also, I don't know the books and the financials, but I know that Naito's paycheck's not on the books anymore. Okada's paycheck's not on the books anymore. There has to be some kind of funds to give the guys you really want to invest in, bigger deals. Your guys like Taguchi, I'm sure that he's not, going to be jumping ship. So maybe you give him like a tour by tour kind of deal, and then you invest more in guys, your younger guys that you want there long term.
Yeah, I could see that too, but I don't know, man. If like New Japan tries hopping in, I think AEW and WWE, they just like up their offers, I get it from like protecting, like trying to protect yourself from that standpoint, but they don't have the capacity to do that meme. But yeah, Ghetto's, he's a territory guy. Guys would have people, Memphis would have people, you're here for 6 months. All right, here's your feud. We're going to build you up. And then you're going to put some guys over. And you're going to head to Florida. Like, be a territory guy, Ghetto. If, don't be a fake territory guy. Like, you've got your guys for a year. You have your year segmented out into tournaments. Like, build them up, bring them down, have them put over who they're putting over at the Dome, or have, them put over who they're putting over at Dominion, and onward and upward,
Yeah. Do you think that New Japan should stop the partnership with AEW because of them losing talent to their partner?
No, because a lot of those people, like Okada was leaving anyway. Like, if they're not Okada was leaving anyway. Like, the Americans, Triple H is sticking his nose in. They're going to leave anyway. Like, I don't see it as AEW stealing these talents away. I see it as these people leaving and AEW's just bidding for him. You know, like Kevin Knight was leaving. WWE wanted him to try out, and AEW said, actually, here's a real contract. You can come in. Like, I don't see them as like the bad guys here. And maybe that's just me being an AEW homer or something, but I see it as like these American guys are just here to like build themselves up, and eventually they're gonna want to they're not gonna want to like do those big fights anymore. Like, I just see it as like, you know, these guys are leaving anyway. At least they're still like, I'm not saying you should be happy they're still like in the kind of AEW New Japan like CMLL conglomerate, but you know, they're going anyway. That's my thought on that. Like, Okada was leaving anyway.
Right.
Like, it's going to happen. There's no need to demonize people who have helped. Like, you know, they didn't. I don't know the sequence of events where Jon Moxley was IWGP champion, but I figured Tony Khan would rather have had his guy on his TV all that time. You know, New Japan gets, you know, some cuts from Forbidden Door. Like, there's benefits here, and I don't think blaming them for all of New Japan's problems is the fix here. There are problems in New Japan, but some of that is internal of like, hey, can we pick somebody and push them? Or, hey, the guy you're picking to push, he kind of sucks. Can we pick somebody else maybe? And, you know, I feel like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, because I am saying push a guy, and then I'm saying, well, not Umino. But
well, I think the thing is, when you push somebody, it's either going to work or it's not going to work, and you're not going to know until you try. And so, yeah, you push Umino and you try. Guess what? It's not working. So you need to change something up and go with somebody else. And I think that, yeah, there is a lack of, you know, a push for a lot of these young guys and really making them feel like stars and like the established guys. I feel like obviously Suji, as far as the homegrown guys, is like the most, you know, star-made guy they have, but I feel like the rest of the guys, and you look at Umino and Uemura and Oiwa, a lot of these guys are just not maybe where you'd want them to be at this point, and part of that I think is the booking and not really, you know, going all the way with a lot of these guys and giving them more to work with, and you're never gonna know until you try if it fails, and if it fails, then you pivot and you go with somebody else. And you know, I agree with you. I don't think that AEW should, or New Japan should, stop partnering with AEW, and I don't think, yeah, we can blame AEW for everything that's going on in New Japan. I mean, I get it. It is, as somebody who watches New Japan, you know, primarily, it's like it does stink that a lot of our top guys leave and go to AEW. But again, I think that opens the door for opportunities to create new stars. As somebody leaves, you can elevate, get somebody over. You know, Jay White left, and that opened the door for Dave Finlay to get elevated. And I think Finley's been doing a great job as leader of the War Dogs and Bull Clubs, and he's been a great, you know, main eventer to have now in New Japan. And so I think that's one good case of where, you know, something worked out. And I feel like these guys are leaving, and it opens the door to, you know, push somebody new. And also, I know like Okada leaving was a big one, and you know, you only get an Okada on your roster every so often, but I still think that, again, open the door for them to push people. And I do think that, yeah, Gato, his style of booking is very slow in a world where the turnover is getting faster and faster.
And like, what would ending the relationship do? Like, there's like, it's not like they're pipelining them to AEW. Like, if you end the relationship, then AEW can just like, they could just take people without feeling bad. Like, you get they take Kevin Knight. Now he's not in Super Juniors. It's like, oh, all right, great. You end the relationship. Who was in? Was there any AEW guys in G1 last year?
Trying to think. I feel like there was. I know Archer was in recently. Eddie Kingston was in recently. Who's in?
Yeah, maybe that doesn't really help my point. But ultimately, I don't think
Takeshita was AEW guy last year.
Yes, you end the relationship. Great. No, Takeshita's not around as much. Like, I mean, it doesn't. I don't see where it helps to end the relationship. Like, I don't see the benefit. Like, they aren't. Tony Khan's not going to not be a billionaire anymore. Like,
right.
WWE is not going to not have money anymore. Like, it doesn't solve the problems. Like, the places with money will still have money, and the guys who are leaving are still leaving to go get that money. Like, it doesn't, like, ending that relationship, I just fail to see a benefit. It doesn't, like, close your borders off. It doesn't, like, I guess it, like, keeps your guys off their TV, I guess, but, like, they're still going to, like, they're still going to be stars. Like, stars are still going to develop. Like, Gabe Kidd's still going to, well, if you end the relationship, then the Omega match doesn't happen and Gabe Kidd doesn't elevate to the level that he's currently at now. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I just don't see how that fixes the problems. Like, the problem isn't that, like, AEW's, like, you know, poking guys off your roster. The problem is, like, there are two giant entities with more money than you, and some of your talents who are, like, from that side of the world are going to get that money in that easier schedule. Like, ending the AEW relationship does not fix that. It may make it worse because then you know, then maybe they take people without, like, then they take people and there's no, like, forbidden door, and then there's no, like, you know, they don't have to feel bad anymore about it. Like,
yeah,
it's basically what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like it expedites the process if there's no partnership, because I feel like Tony Khan would be more aggressive in getting people he wants. And yeah, I think, like you mentioned, like, these are two companies that have lots of money. You know, at the end of the day, it's a business. These guys have families. They have bills to pay. They have aspirations. And yeah, you know, at the end of the day, like, New Japan right now is just not in a spot to give a competitive offer. And so I think that in New Japan, they need to, you know, the thing that they have is, like, the creative and the in-ring style. And so I think that, you know, the booking needs to be, you know, shift up a little bit, and some creative needs to change up, and give guys something that they can't get in those other places besides money. But eventually, regardless, I think at the end of the day, especially guys like your Westerners like Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors and all these guys, like, of course that, you know, they're gonna be done with the Japan tours, and they're gonna want to make the big bag, less dates. You know, we were joking about Nick Wayne, you know, only having 16 singles matches in like 2 years or whatever. Like, a lot of those guys who have been grinding, they want that.
Yeah, and I don't want it to come across like, oh, you should feel happy that you're getting these guys at Forbidden Door, like, oh, you should be happy that Tony Khan's not taking more of them. Like, I don't want it to sound like, you know, you should be grateful for your scraps. I don't see how cutting it off fixes the issues that are causing it. Like, that's not where the solution is. The solution is taking a look at the wrestling world and being like, okay, we may not have these guys for as long. We can't, you know, we can't compete with the money. You know, guys are going to want us not take these dozen-hour flights. How can we change with the business? How can we evolve as this business is evolving with two major entities in America, how can we combat this? Is that going harder on the dojo system? Is that going harder on the homegrown guys? Is that going out with longer contracts? Is that picking up the pace with the booking? How do we combat that instead of just shutting doors, closing the borders? We don't work with anybody anymore because you can't be on your own side. You can't be Switzerland in this scenario. Like, there's no Switzerland. WWE's coming for everybody. Like, they're bulldozers. They're gonna bulldoze no matter what. You know,
Yeah.
They picked up some of your guys when there wasn't an AEW to combat it. Like, they're coming. They're coming for the world, and you can try and sit on your island for as long as you want. I didn't mean that literally because Japan is an island, but you can try and sit on your island all you want. But there's one side, there's a parasite coming to take over it. And, it would help to have a billionaire on your side to fight the other billion.
Yeah. And ultimately, like you said, if cutting the partnership off, there's still going to be two companies making a big offer for these guys. Like, that doesn't stop people from leaving. And that seems to be the sticking point that New Japan fans are having. And I think you nailed the head. Like, there's a lot that New Japan should be doing internally to try to evolve and not, being woe is me. We can't keep anybody. It's like, all right, people are leaving faster. Yeah, we need to do a territory mindset. And I think that's a great way to kind of counteract what's happening.
WWE, they're working with Noah. LJ Cleary was just on one of their shows. Yeah. They didn't name him or anything, but he was there in the front row. They had Omos over there, Inamura's over in NXT doing whatever. They're working with Noah. They were,
Yeah.
They just bought AAA. I would kind of be wary about that. They're coming for everybody. Nobody's safe. And if you've got a billionaire on your side who's willing to fight against them, who's willing to fight to help you in a certain sense, and that while that comes with drawbacks of its own, this war is coming to your front door, and you got to have somebody on your side. I don't want this to sound like I'm saying, be grateful this is happening, but, WWE's coming. You can't fight them. They're coming for your territory. They're coming for what you got. They're coming for your stars.
Yeah. And
it's happening regardless of the letters in America. One of them's going to do it.
Yeah.
You can close off if you want. That's not the solution. That's not going to stop that from happening.
Yeah, and I know it's a lot harder for American companies to buy in Japan, take over a Japanese company, but like you mentioned, they're already working with Noah, and what if they say, hey, maybe we can't buy Noah, but what if we use Noah as a WWE partner, and we try to help them become the number one promotion in Japan, just to spite New Japan and AEW.
What if they do some LLC deal where they end up buying Noah, same way they did with AAA?
Right, because they worked with a Mexican investor company to get that deal done. And again, I know it's a little bit different in Japan, but who's to say that they couldn't do something similar and get a Japanese company to help invest with them?
I don't know. I feel like this conversation may have made people feel worse. I don't know if we've helped anybody feel better today. Hey, there's an American company coming, and there's another American company that's your partner, but your American talent keeps leaving. The solution is just put the best shows on you can with the people you've got. Because not everybody's going to want to leave.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to want to leave. So I guess that's how I'll close this conversation.
Yeah. Well, good discussion there. And yeah, that's going to wrap things up for the show. Suit, thanks for joining me this week. Go ahead and get your plugs in one more time.
I cannot find the run sheet on my phone, but I will throw my plugs in again. SuitWilliams.com. That is my personal blog. Williams watches WrestleMania. As Good as It Gets, the 1997 retrospective. I'll throw up a little Double or Nothing review as well. Like, the beauty about having your own website is that you can just do whatever you want. So I'll do a Double or Nothing little review there. Voicesofwrestling.com for all my other writing. I dumped on Saturday night's main event. I'm going to watch NXT Battleground. I don't know why I do this sometimes, but I'm going to do it. And I review other stuff on there too. So check that out. Voicesofwrestling.com, SuitWilliams.com. That's it.
Nice. Well, thanks again, Suit. Next week, I'll be joined by Scotty Edwards to review the finals of Best of the Super Juniors. So remember, if you want to watch our show live or listen without ads, you can sign up at patreon.com/KIStrongstyle. You can make a donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. Make sure you connect with us on social media on X and Blue Sky. You can follow us at KI Strong Style, at Socialsuplex, and at Jeremy L. Donovan on Facebook. Follow us at facebook.com/socialsuplex and the Wrestling Squared Circle Facebook group. On Reddit, on the Pro Black Guy, also Keeping It Strong Style. On YouTube, we are at Socialsuplex. You can join our Socialsuplex Discord server to interact with us and other wrestling fans. And you can email me, jeremy@socialsuplex.com. And check out all the other shows that we have here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Issue Radio with Rich Latta and James Boyd. All Things Elite with Floyd and Austin. Imps WWE Adventure with the Implications Matthew Mayer. Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Tunnel Talk with Allie and Aaliyah, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review, and we will catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.